the meeting to order of the regular meeting of the Carrabelle Community Redevelopment Association Agency. It's Tuesday, February the 21st, 2017, and it's about 1:32. We're at Carrabelle City Hall, and we'll ask Commissioner Allen to say a prayer, and then we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag after.
Our God and Father, we're in heaven. We're so grateful that we have this opportunity together today to come together and talk about the things that we can improve and develop in our wonderful city of ours. We ask to be with us in our judgment, wisdom, and understanding and patience, that we might do that which is best and most proper for the things that pertain to us in its being. We'd ask you also, Father, to be with the leaders of our country, the distress and the complications that we're faced with. We recognize your sovereignty over the kingdoms and the governments of the world. We ask you to use your best judgment, that your will might be carried out in all things. And we pray this in your Son's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good afternoon. Good to see y'all. We'll have roll call. We have Mr. Rob Powers, Commissioner Allen, Mr. Bo May, and Commissioner Walden, and Mr. Dan Hartman, and our city administrator, and Courtney, and our city clerk, Ms. Keisha. We first order of business is to approve the minutes of January 17, 2017. May I, does anyone like to entertain a motion for that? Did you all get a chance to review those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, all right. We have a motion by Mr. Powers. Would anyone like to second that? All right. Thank you, Mr. May.
I wasn't here, so therefore.
Oh, you're very good. You're correct. Thank you for reminding me. Did you get to see the minutes anyway?
I did.
Okay, good.
But I have a technical question. And, since I didn't participate in the meeting, would it be appropriate for me to yea or nay on it? That's a parliamentary question. Lawyer.
I believe you can. As long as you review the minutes, you have questions on them, that sort of thing. Thumbs up or down.
Okay. Well, I have no questions. Could say, there's no objection. Proves that would cover it.
All right. Any more discussion? We have a motion by Mr. Powell, second by Mr. May. Any more discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. All right, we'll move on to staff reports. CRA Director, you'll go ahead. You've got quite a list for us today.
All right, first on our list is the progress of the historical signage for the Riverwalk restroom. That is complete and it's been installed. A report on the Marine Street Boardwalk project. We've had continued ongoing damage by vehicles driving onto the sidewalk, so we've asked that they put up more poles. So you've probably seen where they've put more poles in so that you can't pull up onto the sidewalk. It's also been pressure washed and stained. Progress of the advertisement for the CRA District and Irrigation System Maintenance. The advertisement appeared in the Times on February 2nd and on the 9th. Contractors will have 30 days to submit a sealed bid with one lump sum bid. Sealed bid package is due on March 13th. Qualification requirements were included in the advertisement and specifications. Award will be announced on March 21st for the CRA meeting. Mr. Myrick, I know you have some questions on this. So if you want to go ahead at this time and we'll take your questions.
Okay.
It's a good time. If you come forward and talk to us.
I just have two questions.
Thank you.
At a previous meeting, 2 or 3 meetings back, we made a report to the group about things that our company was doing for the CRA district. And at that time, we were told that the library was was not considered CRA district property, I guess. That was considered the county, and that we were not to do anything there. The specifications that we have on this new bid package includes the mowing of the library property. And I need a clarification of that before.
And does it have that? Or?
Yes, it
I
does.
don't-
I just saw it.
I put a copy.
Yes, it does.
Oh, this is the copy, this is it here, is this the one that Mr. Russell did?
Yes.
Oh, what page is that? So,
I only created one copy, so she's the only one that has it.
but I'll pass it around here, it's 35 pages, so. And also,
It is on section 104-40, mowing, 40.2, types of mowing areas. Number 2 is library grounds. It's about 3 pages from the back, 5 pages, 7 pages from the back.
I haven't seen it yet. And it's, what did you say, it's 104?
It is section 104-42.
There we go. Okay.
There you go.
That is incorrect, and he must have copied this off of our specifications that we had, or got that from.
But I'll ask him to make an addendum to that and take that out.
Because that is county property.
That's what we were.
And then also the Superior Bank is county property.
Is that in there too?
No, that was never.
Okay,
It
that's,
just is the same, kind of the same, you know, Superior Bank and the library is county.
okay. And my second question is, are you gonna, no, let's just continue this one. Are you going to redo this based on that?
They'll issue an addendum.
What about who's picked it up before?
Everyone that has picked it up, who's on the plan list, will get issued that addendum.
Okay, next is this, the title of this is about the sprinkler system. It says that this is supposed to include the sprinkler system. The sprinkler system is not mentioned one single time in this book. I've been through it 3 times.
This is the first I've seen it
So
today.
this,
I mean, I haven't.
this is not correct right here.
So how will we handle that, Mr. Hartman?
Same way, addendum.
Do an addendum to it, and that needs to be, is Miss Molly here?
No. It should have been
Okay, that's it for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
there. Also, I know that Mr. Melander also had a question because it asked for lump sum bid, and he asked how did we want that? And I told him, because it's a 6-month contract, that'd be a 6-month lump sum bid. So everybody's on the same page, that'll be in an addendum too. So what he'll do is he'll do an addendum for all these items that we have, and then he'll issue it to all the plan holders.
Just gonna mail it to us? Or we pick it up?
Probably pick it up.
Now say that again about the 6 months.
It just asks for lump sum bid, and it doesn't specify, did you want a year, do you want 6 months, do you want 1 month, how did you want it? So we just decided it would be 6 months because the contract was for 6 months.
Is that okay with everyone? Okay. So an addendum to make it a 6-month lump sum. Okay. Okay, thank you for bringing that to our attention, Mr. Myers. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good afternoon.
All right, continuing on.
Mr. May has some
I-
question about that, I think.
If the mayor didn't see this, I didn't see it, I don't know that anybody on the board saw any of this before it went out, and I don't think that's appropriate?
No, I didn't submit it to anyone.
I mean, once I saw it was in the paper and there were, I just felt that we should have known what the contract was when, after Mr. Russell, got done with putting it together. It reflected certain things that I would have thought that were different than what the board had agreed to, or there was a consensus on that were different when it went to the newspaper. Such as the requirement that the licenses weren't due until after the bids were due. When the stuff came in, it didn't all come in at the same time. There was a grace period for the.
I've got a copy of the.
You're talking about the, we talked about MOS certification, and then Mr. Miller was, there was two ways of reading those. That you must have it, he wanted to see if he could get it after he's awarded it, if he gets it, versus he's got to submit that licensure with bid.
It was my understanding that the consensus was that you had the license when you submitted the bid. And not that if you get the bid, you get to bring in the license or not. And at that point, if you got the bid,
This is by the time they award.
And that's awarding it is, when they, I think we're saying the same thing. When they award it, that's March 21st. So when you submit, when it's awarded, you have to have proof that you have that licensure, which is what you're saying. Not, you get it, you won't start for 3 months, and you have that 3 months to go and get stuff. We're not doing that. You have to have all your ducks in a row when you're awarded that bid. And I agree.
before the,
It says, well,
Before-
it basically discusses the MOT certification. The certification may be submitted with the sealed bid or separately submitted to the city no later than the date of the bid award. I really don't see where it talks about insurance or business license.
That's
This
all
part.
that's all in the specs.
Right, and I asked you about that when this came out, and you said that was in the specifications.
Yeah, to me, I mean, it is the same thing, because if you were awarded this bid, you have to show that certification. That certification is a big issue, I mean, so you gotta have it. So, and I think the problem was the classes, literally the calendar days the classes are coming, and that it was in between submittal and award, not beginning work. The question was, I know that one was, you get awarded it, and then you scramble around before you have to start the work and get your any sort of licensures, anything you're missing. We're not doing that. I know that was loud and clear. It's, when you get awarded that bid, you have to be eligible for the work the day you're awarded the bid. So that's how that.
And they have to have, according to the specifications, I haven't read it, but in there you say they would have to have not only the MOT certification, but the license and insurance ready to go.
When
the
it's
day they're
awarded.
awarded the bid,
prior
to be qualified to be awarded the bid. All
It's just,
right. Okay,
It's
so,
just worded.
As with any bid that we do here in the city, we've had the lowest bidder leave out a bid bond before. But before the city commission approved it, when we actually opened the bids, they had to get that bid bond to us before award day on the commission meeting.
okay. So then just a quick review, you are going to make the lump sum, make an addendum to the
Just to
Contract.
clarify, it's a 6 month.
It's a 6-month lump sum. And then an addendum to the contract on section 104.40.2, I believe it is, take the library out.
And then add some
And then,
language. to the sprinklers.
and then add, you need an addendum to add the sprinkler system specs in there.
And- And Mayor, if you recall, when we went to the Water Management District, I already had people wanting to pick these up, and he didn't even have them ready, so.
Yeah,
It was
and that was
timely,
last Thursday, wasn't it? Can't even remember.
as I asked him several times for them.
So, and that's correct, we did ask for that. No, we didn't have it ready. And that's when we were taking our break that we discussed this. Okay.
It's really hard to hear if y'all don't use your microphones.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Mr. Hartman, that's equally true for you.
All right, then, Ms. Courtney, move forward.
All right, report on Northwest Avenue B project. We'll resume agenda discussions after DEO meets with city staff in the spring of this year. We still haven't received our formal contract, but we have been awarded it. Report on the land and water conservation grant. The last communication on January 17th saying when DEP has the approved grant agreement, that they will merge the project elements and the project's applicant information into the agreement, and it'll be approved by their legal office. And they will be distributing the agreements via email. That's the last we've heard from them. We haven't heard anything since. And then item 6 is that I have advised the Riverfront Festival event organizer that he needs to get in his NPO grant application for the Riverfront Festival in April. So we need to have that in March.
Doesn't he need to obtain his MPO status to qualify?
No, is he gonna do Carrabelle Cares?
He's doing CARES, and we're not doing anything else.
That was the way I understood it, that they're gonna do it under Carrabelle Cares.
Okay. I just want to mention real quick that Mr. Dillard pressure washed the commemorative brick wall. It had some effluent coming out, and I think he's going to try to stain the black grout in there. He's trying to get it cleaned up for the Cantwood Johnston Parade. And y'all saw put a post on Facebook, the Dolphins on Riverwalk out there have been reworked and cleaned up, and I think almost 1,000 people have looked at that. And then we've got some new streetlight fixtures put up, 2 of them. Have you seen those? There's one right there in front of Wicked Willie's. They're really beautiful. They're expensive, and one more is to be put up, but.
And they're not the same as the existing ones because those are so old, we just couldn't get the same fixture, but they do look really nice.
Saw them putting her up.
All right, Mr. Hartman, do you have a staff report?
I do not.
Okay, Ms. Keisha, did you? I don't have it on the agenda, but I thought I'd just ask.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And Ms. Tamara wants to report here during public comment for Carrabelle Crawl event.
Switching hats today. Actually, I'm not, I started to see it, this is Tamara Allen, and I'm representing the Carrabelle Culture Crawl today, or as we're calling it at our place, C3, because we get so tired of writing Carrabelle Culture Crawl. What I've handed out to you is our most recently updated press release for the event. We've got 13 virtually, all of the vendors, all of the businesses that cover the area from Harry's Bar all the way over to the Hurricane Museum and then down 98 to Facade. So we've got everything in there as a participating vendor, with the exception of the, and I had not asked Frank at the bait shop, because the 2 times I went to see him, he wasn't there. So I still intend to ask him, and then the beauty shops, I haven't asked them. But everything else we've been to, and we've got 13 participating vendors so far, and we have several commitments on various characters that will be here for the event, and we're working on music. Some of the venues, as part of their contribution, are actually having music done in their stores or on the street in front of their stores. Some are having art created on the streets. Some of the art members of the Art Association are going to be out along the riverfront, or on the streets doing plein air. And I think it's going to be lively and musical and lots of things happening on that Saturday between 11 and 3. And all 3 of the restaurants in that area have offered a meal for 2 as a prize, as part of the giveaway for, if you go to all those places and get your little card stamped, you get to put your ticket into the drawing, and you're eligible for the prizes. And so far we've got some nice meal prizes and a couple of gift baskets. So I think that it looks like it's going to be very successful. The stores are pretty excited about it, and we're working with the Art Association, and also we're trying to work in with the music. There happens to be a music event at Rio Carrabelle on Friday night before and on Saturday night after. So in a way, it's like the bookends of the culture crawl will be an opportunity to experience 2 other kinds of wonderful music. So it turns out, I think it's going to be a nice event. We had written you last month or the month I wasn't able to be here, and I anticipated asking for some money to help hire musicians. Unfortunately, Carrabelle Cares, or the museum, is using up its spot with what we're doing with the Riverfront Festival. And the Artists Association is not eligible because they're not based in the CRA, although the event they're putting on is at Rio Carrabelle, which of course is in the CRA. So none of us were eligible to come forward. The chamber is also, this past meeting that they agreed to become one of the sponsoring groups, but they don't want to jeopardize any funding they might ask for later on for Holiday in the Harbor. So that's just to bring you up to date about why what we're doing changed. We are still delighted that we're doing it in the CRA, and I think that the little character that we made, the picture that's at the top of the page, our artist gopher that's got a little hat on, a little beret, is going to be like don't expect to see him walking around. We don't have a character we can't build a character that quickly, but as far as we'll use it for signs for the various locations and things, and that'll be part of our PR efforts. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to, it's just about getting people into downtown Carrabelle, getting people to come spend their money on a particular Saturday.
It's very cute. It's a nice idea. I like it. Is it too late if others want to come in and join in?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right.
It's not too late, and even if the CRA wanted to sponsor in some fashion without it being like a regular request, the sponsors are paying $20, so it's not like it's a big deal. But anybody else that would like to participate and join, and I'm going to stop by and ask the rest of the stores there just to be courteous. They're still on my list. Any questions? Rob, you sat up like you had a question.
I have a question, but I'm not sure who I'm asking the question to.
Okay.
You mentioned something which I guess either I didn't understand or didn't know about. Tamara said that in order to sponsor, to receive CRA funding for an event in the CRA district, the sponsoring organization has to be located within the district. Is that?
That's in our brochure.
I had never seen
And
that
that's,
before, so.
I think it says in there, headquartered in the district for 2 years. And then all of that came from all of the other organization, CRA, that offer those
I guess
special
that went
events.
over my head, I hadn't realized that.
And we've gotten
I've
all of our.
probably given out some bad information to me.
Uh-oh. We've gotten our guidelines from, all of these things when we started putting the CRA, bringing it into compliance. We reached out to other CRA districts to see what they do, and everything we have is really, reaching out to others and using them as an example. And things that won't promote the state to come in and audit. We really don't want the state to come in and audit.
So let me just make sure I understand, as an example, so if the senior center wanted to host an event in the CRA district, they could not receive any CRA funds, even if the event does not benefit the senior center?
Right, you have to, it says in there, the sponsoring NPO or NGO needs to be, and it's really nonprofit organizations, needs to be headquartered in the CRA district for 2 years.
Okay.
And they really need to, and the Riverfront Festival, everybody who's going to do this, apply for the grant next year, they need to get that in when we're doing our budget.
That's understandable.
Our budget, because we're gonna, we're just not gonna have this kind of money going forward. And if we want to budget for it, we'll try to budget for it. So they need to get it, in at the budget time when we're doing that. We'll probably start that in August or so, our budget work.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tamara. We really appreciate it. Appreciate your work.
Again, that's the name of, down the bottom is the name of the girl. I'm a student,
Oh, student,
and I can help you with that. But maybe Carl Lester and/or Lydia Countryman, I don't know if you talked to either one of them about maybe having a student.
Yeah.
There's a space for them in
Okay.
the afternoon in front of the building.
Okay. And we'll see if we can, I've got a couple of other young people that we're trying to.
Okay. And I can talk to Carl or,
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have a copy of the brochure application? It was circulated. Okay, would you send, well, actually, I have one, but would you send all of them a copy of the NPO special events grant criteria and the brochure and the application?
I remember looking at it, and I remember reading it, but I thought if it benefited the CRA district, that was okay if the organization was located outside of the district,
Well,
but.
just imagine, we would have folks from all over Franklin County and other, everywhere applying.
Right, as long as,
You need to be able to
as long as
manage
any
that.
profits went back into the district. Okay.
Yeah, I can't imagine the senior center would do anything that didn't.
Well, that was just an example.
Yeah.
I was just making it up.
Okay, let's move forward to new business. Item 1, new building facade and site improvement grant application review for Mr. Bob Rare at 207 Southeast Avenue B, Carrabelle, Florida. He's requesting $2,360 to construct a pervious driveway. But Ms. Courtney, last time he applied for this, which was fine. All of his paperwork was in order, but he was not at the meeting as required in the qualifications to submit the application. He has to be at the meeting for the board members to ask questions if they want to. He wasn't here and we overlooked it the one time. Now this is his second application and he's not here. And
He was in this morning, he knew about it.
Okay. I would suggest that we table this until next month and ask him to come forward come to the meeting next month. Otherwise, we just need to take that item out and let everybody just mail in their application, and we won't ask them any questions or anything.
I think it's only fair to give them another chance.
Yeah, I don't want to say
Yeah,
deny him
right.
at all.
That's not what
I think that would be fine with him because he was in this morning wanting to amend this application. So you can't do that at the day of the meeting.
Okay, well, does he want to, maybe does he want to withdraw the application and start over?
I don't know, he's wanting to add painting in there, to paint the exterior. So I can let him know because I already told him he'd have to come back next month for that one. So we'll just let him know it was tabled and he can put the two of them together.
Maybe he can, yeah, or withdraw some, but we don't
Because
know.
it was the same property.
We don't know if it's tabled because we don't have a motion for it to be tabled. So, or a vote. Would someone like to motion?
I'll make a motion for table it for the
Okay.
next meeting.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Powers. We have a motion by Commissioner Allen, second by Mr. Powers. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries to table the item. And then item 2, request by Lisa Keith Lucas, representing the Carrabelle Chamber, a series of repairs, upgrades to the electrical outlets on Marine Street that they've used for various festivals and events. Hello, Lisa.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to come today, and thank you, Courtney, for putting me on the agenda. I'm a recent volunteer for the Chamber of Commerce, and my job is to arrange logistics for the vendors who come to our 2 big festivals. And I've done one now, the 2016 Holiday on the Harbor, and I helped to arrange the vendors' locations. I went out and mapped and marked all the places where they were to set up, and I greeted them on the arrival, and then I helped with the logistics, the most important of which was the electrical power. Most vendors do now request electrical power, especially on the Holiday of the Harbor, because most of the vendors do stay until after nightfall. And we have lots and lots of electrical outlets up and down Marine Street, but we do have a few that need repair, and we'd like to ask for more to fill in the gaps. So what I've done is I've drawn up a map. Well, actually, the map itself was already drawn up, and I will give this to you, that maps out the location of all the existing electrical outlets on Marine Street from 98 down to the Pavilion, and 4 that need either alteration or repair, and those are described on there. And then up to, budget constraints obviously depend, up to 11 new outlets to be put on light poles that are located up and down Marine Street. I can put priorities on that list of 11 if needed, if there's not enough money to put in all 11 of those requested outlets. And that's really all I have. Are there any questions?
We don't know how much, do we have any idea what this will cost?
Now, let me ask you, are you asking for one on each pole? Right now, that they come down with a pigtail, and there's 8 or so on them. Or you want one on each pole?
The ones that we are requesting are a single outlet down from a light pole. Most of the ones that we use are just single outlets. Down towards the Pavilion, I can show you this. Do you mind if I put this down?
No. Just speak
I
up.
can talk loud.
Okay, speak up for us.
I don't know how well you can see this, but if you look, this is 98 over here, this is the Pavilion. Down at the Pavilion area, there is plenty of electrical power. We've got metered outlets that have both 220 or 240, I think, depending on what you want to call it, and also the 110 outlets. We have pigtails, multiple pigtails. There's plenty of power down here for large food vendors, for musicians, that kind of thing. Up at the top, all of the outlets are 110, and most of them are single, and that's up near 98. The repairs are 2 outlets that are much too high to reach with a simple 6-foot ladder, and after watching Skip Frank nearly put his neck at risk trying to get to the really tall one, 2 of the repairs are asking for those outlets to be brought down to the 8-foot level so that they're easier to get to and not as dangerous. One is a broken outlet that is partway down Marine Street, and one is one of the large metered outlets, and it has a lot of bare wiring because I think rodents or squirrels have gotten in there and chewed them up. And so those need to be repaired so that that's usable. So those are the 4 repairs, 2 to bring down to 8 feet. One is just simply broken, and one has exposed wiring. The rest, if you see these little blue marks, and I'll give this map to you, the blue marks are just single outlet requests on light poles. And all that does is give you a little bit more electricity access in the places where it was lacking. Does that make sense? Okay, so we've got 3 up near the front, a few right in this area near Avenue C, and then 1 down at the pavilion so that electrical cords don't have to be stretched across the sidewalk to reach.
Do you have a list of these, or is it just on that map?
Ms.
It's
Lisa,
just-
are you requesting them on our metal poles or these existing wooden poles?
These are existing light poles.
Not the green.
Not the green ones.
Because they can't go on them.
Metal lamps that are, they're light.
Like the ones that have the decorative light.
Oh, okay, well, but some of those already have electrical outlets on them. That's why I was requesting this.
The metal ones do?
The light poles with the decorative lamps,
Uh-huh.
some of them have
With the
electrical
Christmas lights,
outlets.
the ones that are really high.
Right.
Okay.
Some of them already have electrical outlets, but a lot of them do not. And so that's why I put them on there. Now, please understand, I am not an electrician. If I'm asking for the electrical version of an invisibility cloak, then I understand because I'm not an electrician. But if it's possible, we would like electricity at these locations. Obviously, if it's not, well, then I better go back and request something different. Does that make
Well,
sense?
Here's some quotes that we got back 2 years ago, so we would need to get this updated.
Okay.
But to furnish and install a 120 volt, 20 amp drop from an existing power source is $85. To furnish and install a 240 volt, 30 amp drop from existing power source is $205. To furnish and install a 200 amp service pole was $800. And then to add either the 120 or the 240 was $60 and then $80. Now, if she's saying that they already have the existing poles, if we're just gonna bring it down, it'd be, if, 120 would be $85 a pole. Or if you wanted 240, it'd be $205 a pole. And I would think that the
She's
repair-
not asking for any new poles, which would be.
No, that's what I said, that it would either be, because he say existing power source. Now, Susan's holding her hand up so she may.
And this was back in 2015, so we would need to get that updated.
Right, that was Alternative Electric, I'm not sure that, I think they're no longer in business, but, this was quotes we got for the Riverfront Festival, and
And so we would have to, Duke Energy wouldn't do this, we would have to
no,
hire.
it'd be an electrician.
So I would, do you have, and Miss Susie?
I was going to mention too, Suncoast Electric already did some, they've already put some new boxes on a couple, was it a year ago? Before the festival, before we started the Marine Street.
Were they just boxes that needed to be repaired and they put new boxes?
Two of the ones that actually they put power outlets on there. And then, because there's already, most of the poles already do have power going down there, there's a little base plate on there. So we can probably pull them, and I think they're still coming out to finish.
Yeah, they've got another line to finish.
So we could have them give an updated quote for what they've done before.
I think what we're asking is 11 poles.
11 poles.
Yeah, every one of them is a light pole that's already there. And
Would you do all of them with 120 volt, or would you alternate 120 and 240, or?
I think it's unnecessary to put a whole bunch of 240. There are lots of 240 outlets down towards the pavilion. I did mark one location where it would be nice, but once again, that's not essential. We find a way to arrange things so that it's, the chamber did invest in a very large number of heavy-duty 15-amp extension cords of various lengths and pigtail splitters and that kind of thing, just to prevent fires from happening when we had so many people at each outlet. But stretching long cords, especially when they go across gaps and obstruct pedestrian walkways, it's just risky. So the less we can do that, the better. So I'll leave this with you. And,
So we'll have to get in touch with Courtney Will, or somebody, Suncoast Electric, have them do you have an actual list with the utility pole number or something that?
I didn't see any numbers on
Okay.
these poles, because not all of them are utility
All right.
poles, they're just light poles.
Uh-huh.
But if that's necessary, I mean, if there's more that you want me to do, please just ask, and
Well,
I'll grab my stuff and go.
Would something be easier for the folks at Suncoast to identify, or would they be able to identify with that map? The locate,
We could probably tell a pile, I mean, I don't think the poles are actually numbered out on Marine Street.
They're not.
I believe, but we could count and say the third pole down, south of, something like that.
if you could probably, provide a detailed list of the actual poles and then what you want.
But
what
these are
you
pretty
propose.
clear, I mean, I'm looking
It's
at it, and I
good.
think
It's,
you
the map is really good, and I just
Okay.
mapped the poles on the map, but the map is professionally done. so I
Okay.
can draw the map.
All right, I mean, if y'all, if,
They're all blue dots, so you kind of see.
as long as they can figure it out from Suncoast Electric, it's okay with me. I mean, if you think they can.
I think they can.
Would you like,
They just
they've been
schedule
down
a
there
time,
enough.
come down here and we can meet them.
Would you like my cell phone number on there so that if they have questions, they can call?
Yeah, that would be good.
931-636-2145.
And then we'd need some kind of, this would have to come back to the board next month. And then, they'd have to, I'm just trying to think, it might not be done for the Riverfront Festival.
Oh, I didn't anticipate that this would be done on any schedule, because you all have your own schedule. I thought I'd just ask for it.
Well,
The worst that
that's
could
good.
happen is you guys will say no.
That's good, well, but you know what, you need it. Good answer. And if it doesn't happen at this point, it can go in the budget.
And if we get 1 or 2 more outlets, or 3 or 4 more outlets, anything helps. So, and maybe 5 or 6 years down the road, it'll have all the setups. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And like I say, Ms. Lisa, if it doesn't work out this time, we can put it as a project for our next fiscal year. Okay.
And having done a lot of shows like that, one of the biggest gripes is the location and where can I get near a pole? And I've been there, done that, and it can really be a real killer on an art show or a craft show.
Well, I put a lot of miles on my feet just
And when
problem
people come
solving,
in,
trying to
when
keep
people come
things
into a
going.
place where it's really taken care of and everybody's looking at the problems, it's a joy to come back.
Thank you. Yes. All right. We'll move on to Novia Consulting Group projects. Item 1, and just give us a little report on the crosswalk. It's Highway 98 and 4th Street project completion.
Good afternoon. I apologize for being late. I had a little mix up in time. So for the 4th Street crosswalk, Dixie Paving has finished construction. If you notice, before we had talked about the gore striping to prevent people from parking in that area, I have talked to DOT. They're doing that as a separate project for themselves. So they have that. Michelle Williams is closing out our project. He has some kind of maintenance things that he'll get back to me on. But after he closes this project out, he'll send one of their maintenance crews to go down there and install that additional gore striping that everybody wanted.
Yeah, that was a result of the Franklin County Traffic Safety Team.
Yes, yes.
We're working on another one too, so.
Okay.
I'll announce that if it comes out. All right, and then item 2, progress of the Southeast Avenue C project, including resurface of Southeast Avenue C, resurface of Southeast 1st Street with milled asphalt, conceptual for pervious parking lot at Marine Street and Avenue C. Discussion and possible action.
Yes, so it's kind of a strange lot, so we came up with 3 options for parking. I have big versions if y'all want to see them, if your small versions don't work. Yes, sir. You would like a big version? All right. Anyone else? Me?
And maybe Keisha might want one, or you, that would be good.
And so some of the biggest constraints is the slope on the property. And as you can see, two of our options include a 2-foot high retaining wall to push that slope back a little bit to get us some more moving room. And the other big constraint is the existing utility pole on the site. It has 4 guy wires coming off of it, which takes up quite a bit of room. And normally with a pole with that many guy wires, the utility company doesn't like us moving it or relocating those guy wires. So most of these options work around those guy wires. If we're gonna do pavement, I included a small little retention area. The other option would be to do a pervious treatment, gravel, or pervious concrete, or whichever y'all would prefer.
But we have a budget, so what is going to be the price difference if it was asphalt versus gravel?
The gravel is going to decrease the price because it eliminates the need to construct that stormwater facility. And just so between the 3 options, the first one is going to be the least expensive, as we do not need a retaining wall. And if we choose gravel, it would be no stormwater facility.
Is that a retention pond on the first one?
Yes, I just drew a little just to give you a visual of, yeah, the loose wiggle, and that's just kind of a example. I didn't do any real calculations on it, just to show you that if we're doing the paving, we would need some small facility.
I'm just having some preliminary discussion now. I'm going to ask for, I think it's on the agenda. I can't remember if I put it, it's on the agenda or under other items brought forth, but for a workshop, budget reallocation workshop. And we probably would need to have that workshop before our next meeting if we decide to go with asphalt. And that would also let us know whether or not we could fund the light receptacles, the power receptacles that were just requested in this budget. Because we've got some issues that we need to work out with the budget. They're very important before we really reallocate or spend any more money this time. But do y'all have one that you like best here?
I looked at it online, this first one looked like best to me. I don't see the purpose of the others.
And I agree, I like that. What about the rest of you? You have a copy, right? You like that one as well? It gives you 13 spaces. The other gives you 6 spaces. And the other, you get 9 spaces, but you lose 3 on Marine Street, so you really only get 6 spaces. So, but if it was this one, so I think, and how about you, Commissioner Allen, which one do you prefer?
One is fine with me. Number 3 would be my second choice. And I would see some landscaping on that corner. Well, that would happen in all of them. Yeah.
So,
So number 1 looks good.
I would say though, if we did that and gravel, then we'd have gravel all out in the street. It would be a little messy. So now we do have some curb stops. I don't know how many we have. You might not remember. We ordered some and we didn't use them, but we've got curb stops. So they can be used there no matter what.
One of the advantages of number 1, if we use asphalt at the same project, we're going to be repaving this street. So we can kind of lump those 2 functions into one. Instead of treating this as like a separate site, you kind of treat it as one road with on-street parking on the side. So we kind of get a better price as far as they go in, stabilize the parking, and then just do one overlay of asphalt without being overly complicated.
I like that.
And what kind of stormwater are you talking about?
It would just be a really small swale. with this amount, I talked to the Water Management District about this project a few months back when we were first looking at it. With this, it being closely associated with the roadway, we may be able to get them to have an exemption for this asphalt and eliminate the stormwater facility. So it's kind of a mutual talking with them, say, look how little impact we're having, and we can get lumped into kind of another exemption. So worst case scenario, we would have a small swale. Best case, we can get it exempt.
What about a handicap parking space?
I can add one. It will eliminate
Take it down
3 spaces.
3 spaces.
Yes. We always do the 12 feet and then the 5 feet. So that is, okay, so typically they have one, okay, unless we have an 8-foot wide parking space. So we have, normally they're 9 foot wide, so 9 is 9 is 18, but the handicap space is 17, so it's a weird foot hanging.
So around.
Yeah, so it's 17 total, so we would have 10 spaces, and I can maybe,
What if we made out here on Marine Street a handicap spot out in front of it? Would that work?
and make it like a parallel handicap spot. We would have to, the width, it looks like isn't adequate, so we would need to, we can do it, we would bump the sidewalk in and kind of go around to provide that extra width needed for the parallel handicap space. But it can be done, I can see probably that middle space, we can just bump it out so the sidewalk kind of goes around
I
the
think
space.
Ms. Tamara wants to speak or.
No, I just wanted to look at the picture. I'm commenting on something, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you can have that.
It's the general principle.
So we can.
My question is, where's the next closest one?
I believe that's in front of Carrabelle Farms, or at Cal's,
There was one right in front of mine on the next street.
So that's
and
the closest.
the museum.
Yeah, there's one in front of the barber shop. And also one in front of the museum.
Are you doing anything to keep the bill from all coming down?
The bottom of the hill right here.
All right,
I just wanted to see, I didn't understand why it was gonna take so much effect. Normally, if you do them at the end, they don't take 3 spaces, but whatever it takes, I guess.
and so it has to be wide. What about this west end? That one could be expanded a little bit?
We can expand it. I try not to creep too close to the intersection. But we can get there to go up to the radius.
Yes, sir. And how many, what would that take, 2 spaces then? We lose
Yes, we
one-
can,
We
yes,
have
we
12
can.
instead of 13?
We would still take 2, so we'd have 11 and then a handicap space. So 12 altogether. And the other option, and that's how I was, if you understood, as I was explaining, camera,
We can take these spaces, since it's not wide enough. Widen it, bring the sidewalk inside.
kind of like that. So you kink the sidewalk around to provide that width for the parallel parking, accessible space.
Yeah, I don't think I want, she wants to, was suggesting to take these 2 and then you'd have to take up the sidewalk and move it in, move it like that. I don't, too much. What I was wanting really also was that this lot would have, be leveled a little bit, on these others here. You're actually using the lot that's being leveled, and then that could have to be used, during a festival or something that would be used.
We
So-
can, kind of make,
Can
in
you-
the grading plan, get that, not, instead of not having the retaining wall, but kind of make sure that slope is at its max and get that as a usable
I know.
pad for a,
Oh, okay.
That was just
Okay.
that.
Do we have a map for Miss Tamara? Okay.
Is this a proposed, you're gonna fix this, redo the sidewalk?
no, that's existing, that's existing. You'd redo it if we were, if I was doing, talking about this bump out.
I do want to.
Okay. Can she have that?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
I do want to make a comment.
Okay.
Based on what you just said.
All right.
It was my vision when you all first started talking about doing this, that it would be done in the entire corner of, I never thought of it going all the way down as far as it's going. I thought it was gonna be parking so that at some point we could put a stage in there and have, like for a festival, that we could put a stage there and have seating in the lot, whatever the lot turned into be. But I don't think, I had not envisioned a line of asphalt parking, which is, I guess, certainly an option. But if there's a way that it comes down from the ancient sand dune is all got its own ancient greenery growing on it, and then it lowers, but you're right, it's not flat. So if there's some way to kind of, from where the barriers are there now, which are pretty functional, I was just thinking the whole thing would be treated that way so that it could be used consistently. I didn't think about just that kind of parking.
Well, we didn't either. It's just brought to us today. We just received this today.
And I tried to make it like a traditional interior parking lot, as you can see in my other two options. It's just a triangle, it's a strange shape for a parking
Yeah,
lot,
and
and
the
to
guide
get those
wires.
back up, and the
Those
guy wires
wires,
are taking up a lot of the site.
And it's a triangle because we all agreed that we did not want to disturb the embankment. We don't want to disturb that. So, and by putting a retaining wall, that's gonna, cause some disturbance, and we'd just rather not do that. And so, back to what I was mentioning is that, I was hoping that it would be leveled somehow, that where it could be used for festival or vendor booths or something like that.
And if you want, you can install the retaining wall for this project, because it gives you that extra space for events in the future. But it would be necessary if we were doing on-street parking, but we can always do it and provide that level kind of base site plan for whatever it's going to be in the future, kind of give it like a site pad ready area.
Something
so it
like
looks
that.
nice.
Because I cannot tell you all, I cannot stress to you enough that we are going to have to look at our budget before we do something way out of line other than what we budgeted. It's a shame, because it would be good if you could go ahead and start work on it. I also want to remind you now, for the milled asphalt, we have that at the water plant.
Yes.
Okay, we have milled asphalt there. And now we have curb stops too that can be used.
Okay, great.
No matter how we do the parking.
Okay.
And Ms. Tamara, it might not happen all at once, it may have to happen in phases because of the cost.
I just, looking at the pictures, I think three, of course, I haven't seen it either, but, three is more like what we recommended back a long time ago when we recommended this, but,
When did we recommend it?
if you go back to the projects that were sent in to the CRA, that the Waterfront Partnership
Okay.
sent in,
Mhm.
we recommended it 2 years ago. It was recommended that something be done with it, that it would be useful and that it be improved so that it would be better for festivals and other activities. I mean, it would add parking, but it would also solve that other problem too, so.
Well, you all need to make a decision, and then, if we get into something, first of all, asphalt wasn't in the We didn't budget for asphalt. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well, we own the asphalt, don't we? We own the asphalt in that building.
That is a consideration.
But we're going, on this street here, we own that milled asphalt, and that milled asphalt's gonna go on this street.
Oh, it is?
Yes, sir. Ms. Molly is proposing this to be asphalt.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I thought we could use that for this.
Well, it's all in the same general area, so I'm sure they're gonna reuse, they're not gonna stop and change asphalt between
Yeah,
the parking.
right.
and
So you're proposing to use milled asphalt in here?
Make it last as much as we can get out of it. I mean, you got a pile of it, if we can do it all fine, if what we're gonna do, we have to buy it. But I prefer the parking here, the asphalt, whatever. Like gravel and stuff, just fly out.
especially on-road parking is
Yeah.
better suited for asphalt. The interior, the option 3 would be more, would be perfect for gravel kind of, so.
And option 3 actually works well for events as well, but
I would say try to get as many parking spaces as you can.
Here's a combination of 1 and 3. You can take that. This one with the
Make that a handicap spot.
handicap spot, and then there's something like this, from thing number 3. If you didn't have to put a swell there, that could be treated somehow
Okay.
for future.
And that's what I was kind of saying, we can go ahead and install the wall to push back that slope.
It would define the area,
Mhm.
and if, there's your guy wire.
Yeah.
So, but then this area here could be useful for something. It doesn't have to really be completed as such, it's paved.
Yeah, then you could put lime rock or gravel or something there at that spot. Small.
And we can always do it as a,
I like this
bid
one.
option. We can draw the wall in there, put it out to bid, see what we get. If it's too expensive, we can take it out, and we know what it's gonna cost in the future.
And
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I like the parking, the additional parking down there, downtown, right off, Harry's. There's a lot of parking, and we need those parking spaces.
I like it too. I like it because it's right across from the boardwalk now where it's all compact car parking, and this would allow, how long are these spaces?
They're the traditional, it would be like, it would be an 18 by 9 space, but it's angled, so it's 16 and a half face to face, but the diagonal part of it is 18, if that makes any sense.
We might even make them a little bit longer so we could get some, some long trucks in there.
And I had kind of thought about that, leave some bumper blocks off to.
I beg your pardon?
And I had kind of thought about that, leave some bumper blocks off so people can pull further
Yeah.
into the lot, so they don't have their rears on the bigger trucks hanging in the road. And some of these trucks down here get.
We don't want them to drive on the lot necessarily. We don't want them on the, I would tear it up.
That's right.
We don't want them on there.
Okay, then we'll block them off
Or
with their
maybe
blocks.
make it a little bit longer so some of these long trucks that are sticking out Marine Street now, at the boardwalk area haven't, can come over there and use those.
Okay.
I've got a question on the retainer wall. My first vision is a concrete wall. Is there some way of using some that would look more natural, like logs, that would look like logs, or something that would be more compatible to the area?
We can, one of the easiest, cheapest things that we like to do is do a form liner and a dye on the wall. So essentially you have a mold and it makes it look like bricks, or it make it look like rocks or gravel or whatever pattern you want, and they have different additives they can put in the then we can have that as, again, an alternate option for bid, so we can see how much additional it would cost for these types of architectural type treatments.
And then if we want to try to make this an area that can be used as, for festivals, we can do some site prep there.
Yeah, I would imagine we can just kind of stabilize it and then add some gravel.
And I had thought earlier, you know, if you put these curb stops or whatever, we may need to leave one or two off side by side. Don't put curb stops so that there can be access to this lot for the future to, you know, to use it.
Have people pull out.
Yeah, they don't want to drive over the curb.
Okay, so I'm hearing we like option one.
What do you,
Add in retaining wall, change to a handicap spot, and have it kind of do a little site prep for stabilization of the site for future events. Is that
and what,
plan?
and now what is this one here? Tell me about this.
That was, I moved that up here because that's where that guy wire is. And so I thought this was too far back. You might as well move that over so it doesn't let the guy, what if you,
But what is that?
this was basically, I don't know. It was just-
Is that a handicap slot?
No, no,
Oh,
no, no,
oh,
it
okay.
was just something to different.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Really just delineating an area.
All right.
And this is where that wire is, so that's sort of.
And you were wanting to put like a retaining wall here?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do that.
Well, maybe just that far even. maybe
But that would block, that would not leave the lot open for future development or future, yeah, put the, or design us a retaining wall coming back a little bit like you have on this one.
Okay.
Which one is
This one.
So the retaining wall layout on 3
Yeah, that's
with
basically
the
about where I.
parking on 1.
All right.
Maybe, okay, just look for the. Just something like,
Now, is that as far back as you can go with the wall without disturbing the sand dune?
I can go further, but then it would have to be designed by an engineer. They have to do a specific retaining wall design.
Okay. And then.
that's what that was meant to be, just because that was saying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just- I don't know where exactly it goes.
And with this one, we wouldn't necessarily have to have retention pond, because see, all of these other, you know, you've got to have retention ponds, and that takes away from the usage of the lot as well when you start. So this one, we don't need retention pond, it's bad.
We may.
Oh.
I'm hoping that we won't
Uh-huh.
with my bargaining skills in the district.
That's a swell there in this whole thing. That he's not using it, except this agriculture. I mean, agriculture.
A rain garden. So, Mr. Keith, what do you think, Commissioner Walden?
I like this one, I don't have no problem in, you want to put the handicap in.
Yeah,
I don't know about retaining wall there for this one, street.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, and I'm concerned about that too. I like to put the handicap down there like we talked about on the west end. But where, it depends upon where the retaining wall goes, how much is it gonna cut into the usage of that future usage?
I think that this could be done later, all of this.
Yeah,
Do this, avoid the swell, and then know that you can make that
and
into something.
grade this lot out, level it out, you know, and maybe give us a price on some small gravel that can be, you know, used, that can be driven on or, something set up on it. All right, let's see, is there anything else now? Is there anything else? Okay. So you'll bring us a price back then, a kind of a
I'll
guess?
get a final, I'll combine the ideas, or all what we discussed today, have a final set. We'll have had communication with the water management district to get a final answer on the swale versus no swale, and then have a cost estimate for everything.
And the retaining wall will be separate.
I'll keep that as a, maybe we'll talk about it when we see the price option.
Very good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need to vote on that, Mr. Hartman?
On which, to mix the first and the third?
On the direction that we just gave Molly?
Or I can,
You're
I can.
going to combine them. You're
I'm
going
gonna
to
combine
mush
them and I'll
those.
have a final one, and then you can
Yeah,
vote
let's
on
just
that
see
one.
what we've
Yeah.
got as far as,
It's like the idea, let's see what she does.
and then give her the go-ahead.
All right, then, we'll move forward to environmental consulting technology. Item 1, progress of Marine Street Triangle parking lot regarding relocation of utility poles, advertising for bid proposals, project timeline. Groundbreaking ceremony day.
I've got the 60% plans for everyone to approve. So we could send it to, for permitting. We talked, or Courtney talked with Duke Energy, and they can move those poles along there, so we were able to go with the 55-foot spaces, 55 foot long. But we won't have them moved until after permitting is approved, just in case water management has any issues with the layout. So, but the plan will be to move the 2 poles into other locations. In this design too, we actually gained 2 spaces along the southern boundary, so there's 16 along the southern boundary. We did go ahead and put 1 handicap space in along the northern boundary, just to cover, because not all handicaps are going to be in wheelchairs, so there are ones that might be going out on a boat. But we did go on the north end, so they could easily access over to the ramp. That's the handicap access ramp over there. So we will put a crosswalk in going across there. Which I think several people do, probably offload it over there if the other ramp is busy to get up to parking their trucks anyway, so. We are going to, one thing we did note on here on the demo plan, there is a well and a septic tank from the old, on the Milligan property. So we're gonna it's gonna be in the plans to go ahead and abandon that well and remove the septic tank. It's about an 8-inch well that's located on the southern part of the property. There's the pipe is sticking up out of the ground. And there's I think the white PVC pipe is probably where the septic tank is sitting, so we'll go ahead and have that in there to have that taken care of.
Okay. Try not to complicate things. Courtney did mention about just having 1 utility pole, but I went over there and looked that way, and I would suggest to keep both utility poles. Maybe have 1 with the light going out over the street, over the Marine Street there, and then 1 facing in on the parking lot. I don't know, but that's just a suggestion.
Could you have 2 lights on 1 pole? Opposite direction.
I think that will get to what Duke wants to do. I believe they probably can do that since that's their. Yeah, can't hurt to ask.
You sure we put electrical out?
We got that one too.
All right, so this drawing I have shows 48 feet. I want to make sure that, you know, but I do see 55 on that one, so these down.
Going closer towards the curve, they are going to shorten. They will shorten a little bit because of the curve. It's the angle parking is, they're 55 feet long to the angle.
Okay, all right. Oh, I see. Thank you. All right, so this is going to cost a little more. The engineering has doubled. The crosswalk's going to add in, And like this stop bar, and I'm glad you put that, that was on my list over here. We needed that bad. Moving the utility poles is gonna add in the cost. Pervious concrete is gonna add into the cost. We budgeted $120,000. So,
There's a price sheet on the very back.
okay,
For the whole, for the entire pervious. And that last engineering I gave you does include all the way through construction for that additional, so that was through construction.
okay. So there you see about 80,000 more. And that's gonna, we really need to have a budget workshop before we have our next meeting. I'm just saying that, and that's an agenda item, and we're going ahead and say.
Wait to put
So-
the date on here.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
But what do y'all think here?
I have a question. Are we having a separate bike lane, or was you just?
They are gonna put, he does have it in there to put that little bike lane on that southern part of the curve.
And where is that now?
It's on the southern part of Marine Street on the curve between the parking space and then the,
Oh, I see that, but just a.
he did add a bike lane in there.
And he wants to paint all those sharrows there?
We probably won't put that many, that's
Okay.
just for, we'll probably put one in there.
Okay, one or two.
But that's gonna be the only section that has a bike lane?
Right, because the rest of Marine Street, the road is also the bike lane on that.
And why did he do that? Because there was a little bit of extra space
I think
from.
he's got a little space, correct. But we can also, if you want, we can take that out, it'll be a little less, there won't have the markings for just the sharrows will be taken out.
And then that lane would be a little bit wider, that
Correct.
eastbound lane. Ms. Keisha, what do you think, since you recognize that?
I just thought it was odd just to have that little piece, have a bike lane.
Yeah,
I thought we said we was gonna paint the sharrows all the way down Marine Street, because it was a bicycle sharing road.
Right, right. And I think we stopped right there at the north part of that curve.
Okay.
I think we do have, I think our first set, I believe, is right there.
so
Which
was
I
he
guess
going
it
to
would be
stripe
safe
this out as a
on
bike lane? Was he gonna stripe that out as a bike lane there? Is that,
He was just gonna put the markings for it and put the sharrows in there to show that it was.
so make a stripe and then,
Right.
Would it require signage?
More than the sharrows? No. Because that already is a bicycle, a trail, right, I think, along that your scenic byway. Right.
Over here on the last page, you have a handicap spot, 12-foot plus 5-foot space. If you go to the page where you got the parking line drawn out, you don't have room for that fire, you take out one of those spaces.
They're gonna, we have the space on both sides for that one. They can, because that part there is also, it's all pervious concrete, so we can shift that a little
Oh,
bit.
okay.
But that's mainly for that's the one in front of the
Oh, I
pavilion.
see, so this 5-foot be on the other side.
Right.
no, he's looking.
Right, but this detail is for the pavilion, the ones in front of the pavilion. There's a detail sheet on, that's for the detail on the ones on page 5.
Oh, okay.
It's for the 2 spaces that we're gonna be putting in for the handicap spaces there, correct.
And really, there's no handicap spaces on Marine Street, so that's gonna give us 2
Except for on the
there.
north end. We have one, I think there's one in front of where the pharmacy is.
And then 2 on Avenue B. So 2 here, and then 1 at the Marine Street Park, a triangle, and then 1 down at the one that Molly's working on.
Now, the
So-
one here, you're saying the 5-foot would be over here.
Right, this one here is not necessarily for a wheelchair, 'cause, but I mean, we can widen that one a little bit. We do have space to widen that one a little bit
Okay.
more to make that one fit. Because we're we're gonna put the sign beside it and not in front of it also, because, so we can keep it a pull-through space also.
And then over at Marine Street, it's gonna have, at the pavilion.
Right.
Okay. everybody needs a ramp, but
Right.
when you need it, you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We have sometimes parked at an angle and take up 2 spaces
Mhm.
when you don't have an official space.
Right. Yes.
Okay, fellas, tell me what you think. What you're thinking,
We're
Caps,
making
on.
progress.
Okay, all right, do you want to move forward? What do we do here? We've got, basically 200,000 on the parking lot. So what's your next
The next,
step?
if the board approves it, then we will submit it to water management for permitting.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like being in the middle of the forest, now we gotta get out, so. So go on.
Keisha, how do you think that would look on the budget, that 200?
I would prefer to wait till after the reallocation workshop personally, but.
Your engineering quote included the going to the water management
Correct.
district?
Yes.
Well, what do y'all think? Do you all like this plan?
Yes. Do we have the money?
Well, we'll find out,
Well,
but,
yeah.
we could let her go ahead and do all the preliminaries. We do have the money for that. And, if we don't have the money to do the project, it just depends on what we do with the reallocation. But one thing about it, we have the project shovel ready,
Yep, let's do
no
that.
matter what.
Yeah.
So go ahead, I would suggest let Ms. Susan go ahead to the water management district for permitting, and that would get it shovel ready.
I don't think you have a choice.
Well,
That's what I'm saying, I mean, we're here,
yeah, well, you don't, as Mr. Hartman explained, it's not engraved in stone until you sign the contractors.
So-
The contract.
Could I make a motion to do that?
Yes, sir?
I'd make a motion to go ahead and do what you need.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
second.
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Powers and a second by Commissioner Allen to direct make sure I say this right, to direct Ms. Susan to go ahead and proceed with permitting from the water management district.
That's correct, that's it.
Okay,
Very good.
okay, and that's Mr. Powers and Commissioner Allen. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then that motion carries. Thank you. Thank you for working with us. All right, CRA board project, item I keep referring to. Item 1, scheduled 2016-17 CRA budget reallocation workshop in March 2017.
Is it possible to have that meeting on the same day as March the 21st, is the next CRA meeting, to have it before the meeting, or are you thinking about having it separate, on a separate day?
That's okay with me. We'll just have to ask the other folks. And then how about staff, too? How do y'all feel about that? What time would you suggest, Mr. Powers?
Well, we could start at 1 o'clock and have the budget allocation meeting for an hour, and then start the CRA meeting at 2 o'clock.
But then we'd have to notice that the CRA meeting had changed times.
Okay. So we could, I'm good any time of the day. We could start it, I mean, there is lunchtime there.
Yeah.
I think most people like to eat lunch.
But we could go at 11 and take a lunch break.
Is it a workshop or?
Does that work for?
You could even have it after the CRA meeting.
Well, we've
No,
got-
please don't.
Yeah.
I'm starting to please don't.
We want to know what we have because we've got some other things coming forward.
What's the best, least, what's the best preferred for Courtney and Keisha?
Does it matter to me?
We could start at 10 or 11 and then break for lunch and come back,
And then Mr.
instead of
Bowe,
dragging on for 4 or 5 hours straight.
Mr. Bowe wants to say something.
by March 21st, will you have approval or not from the water management?
We should,
So it's possible that,
they're already aware of the project.
it's
so-
possible that at that time we could approve this to proceed. I think we should move the, if it's a workshop, I think we should move it up to like the 7th or of March or something and have time to, we're just gonna talk about it.
Talk about, we're gonna reallocate.
We're gonna actually reallocate.
Uh-huh.
We can take. Okay. I just think it would be nice if she might come back on the 21st and say, we're ready to go. Then it'd be nice for us to know that we are ready to approve.
Well, wouldn't we know that by the end of the budget reallocation workshop, no matter what day of the week or month it is? So by the time we close that budget reallocation workshop, whether it's on the 21st, the 14th, or the 7th,
Okay.
we should know.
Would you even have 100% plans by then?
Probably not 100%.
So, yeah.
So we wouldn't necessarily be able to approve
Right.
that date. Okay. And I stand down.
That's all right.
I just didn't want to like come in that day not knowing.
If I would, sorry,
To know. I'm sorry.
you know, I'm not typically here for budget workshops. I wouldn't be able to make that one in the morning. I'm coming back from Jacksonville that morning. I'm not, just letting everybody know that. So,
Is that okay?
looking for me.
He's not usually here.
I'm not usually here for those, so you're not gonna miss me.
Can we, will we get information for us to look at prior to the reallocation meeting?
Let me ask Ms. Keisha what she thinks.
So we can come in here knowing sort of.
I mean, we'll have what we've spent today through the end of February. You won't have March numbers. So
Right,
we'll
but
have a
we could
5-month.
we could have a sheet, say at least a week ahead of time, so when we come in.
You'll have it with your packet.
But we're gonna need to have our carry forward balance.
Yeah, we're-
All that's gonna need to be readjusted according to what the CPA advised. So. We carried forward too much money. We're 680 something thousand off. So we need to really take care of it and address it, or we can't move forward.
It's hard to come in and get that information.
Yeah,
When
I
we come in here
understand.
and sit down and then have to look at it, digest it, figure out where you are.
So we'll work it out. We'll get it to
That's
you.
why we're having a workshop.
I mean, the workshops for reallocation, it's not for forming up where we are on the ledger sheet. That's what I'd like to have ahead of time instead of seeing it for the first time when I come in.
Okay. I can give it to you. I don't know that you're gonna understand it, but I'll give it to you.
At least there'll be numbers.
Okay.
If you understand it, I'll do my best to understand it,
Okay.
or I'll call you.
All right, so do we have a date?
10:30 on the 21st.
Okay, is that all right? 10:30 on the 21st? And is
Break.
okay. And how is that for staff?
That works for me.
Okay, all right then, may we have a motion then for 10:30 on March the 21st?
Motion to have the budget allocation, reallocation meeting at 10:30 on the 21st, for the meeting terminating at not later than 12.
I hope so. I hope.
Good luck.
We hope that it will work out that way. Do we have a second?
Well, second.
Okay. So we have a motion by Mr. Powers and a second by Commissioner Allen for 10:30 a.m. March 21st budget workshop. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then the motion carries. And are there any other items brought forward by the CRA board members?
I have a question, I think the question is to Courtney. Do we have any update on the Sonala property? You mentioned there was a prospective buyer. You never.
I haven't heard anything else from them.
Okay. Is there some way we can follow up with them?
Yeah, I can find out,
Or-
send an email.
Okay, or I can do it, or whatever, I want it. But that would be great. Thank you.
Keep those quotes in mind whenever we do the workshop. Is there anything else?
I missed the motion to adjourn.
We haven't done it.
Okay.
We're about to do it.
Then I did miss it.
So maybe, if there's nothing else then, may we have a motion to adjourn?
We've been busy down on this end, y'all.
I make a motion with adjourn this meeting.
Okay,
I second. How about that?
okay. All right, finally, you two.
Who's second?
Okay, so we have a second by, a motion by Commissioner Walden, second by Mr. May. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, then the motion carries.
They usually do it.